When she handed you her phone, you felt it immediately. That small weight in your palm that wasn't really weight at all. It was the vertigo of transparency. Your best friend of 8 years had just unlocked access to everything. Her messages, her search history, her banking app still logged in, the voice notes she records when you're not around. And she had yours. You both agreed to 24 hours. No cheating, no closing apps, no bathroom breaks where you panic delete. You didn't know yet that you'd discover something about her that would make you question whether you'd ever really known her at all. And she'd discover the same about you. The first hour felt like a game. You laughed nervously as you scrolled through her recent texts. There was the group chat where she's always the funny one. You knew that already. There were messages to her mom that were sweeter than you expected, reminders about her dad's medication, a note about a dental appointment. Normal, safe. You texted back a few people as her, played along, made jokes in her voice that landed exactly right because you know her rhythm. She was doing the same with your phone in the other room, and you could hear her laugh. That particular gasp laugh she does when something genuinely surprises her. You felt proud, almost, that you were surprising each other, that you had depths. You were both looking for the good secrets, the stories you'd withheld out of kindness, not malice. But then you found the search history, not the recent one, the one from 3 weeks ago that she'd cleared from her memory, but not her phone. How to tell if your best friend is toxic. Then, signs you're in an emotionally draining friendship. Then, can friendships end suddenly? Each search was time-stamped. 10:43 p.m., 11:15 p.m., 1:33 a.m. You were awake that night too. You remember because you'd texted her, and she'd responded within minutes, warm and normal. While you were sleeping, she was awake, researching your friendship the way you research whether you're getting sick. Methodical, worried, alone. Your throat went dry. You didn't close the browser. You opened the Notes app instead. There was a draft. Never sent. I don't know how to tell her that I feel like I'm always the one reaching out first. I'm tired. Your name wasn't there, but it didn't need to be. The timestamp was from last Tuesday. The day you'd invited her to lunch and she'd said she was busy. The day she was apparently home, writing about how exhausted she is by you. You sat there holding her phone, and something shifted. The game stopped being a game. You understood, suddenly, that knowing someone's secrets doesn't mean you know them. It means you know what they hide. And what they hide from you is usually what they're most afraid of becoming in your eyes. She wasn't hiding an affair or a second life. She was hiding her own doubt about your friendship. She was protecting you from the burden of her resentment. In the other room, she was having her own crisis. She'd found your search history too, the one from a month ago. How to support a friend who doesn't seem happy. Then, is it selfish to set boundaries? And the note in your drafts. I think she resents me for having a boyfriend. I think she expects me to prioritize her over him, and I can't anymore. You'd written this the night she'd made a comment about you canceling plans. A small comment. You'd both moved on, but you'd spiraled about it. Quietly. Alone. While she was awake at 1:33 a.m., wondering if you were tired of her. Neither of you was angry at the other. You were both angry at the person you'd been. The version that couldn't just say the hard thing out loud. The psychology of phone swapping reveals something most people don't articulate. We don't hide our worst selves on our phones. We hide our vulnerable ones. The searches, the drafts, the half-formed worries. These aren't evidence of betrayal. They're evidence of the internal monologue that everyone runs constantly. The version of you that exists in private is often more honest than the version that exists in public. But it's also more anxious, more self-doubting, more desperate for reassurance. When someone sees that version, something breaks. Not because they've found something damning, but because they've found proof that you were worried about losing them. By hour 12, you were both sitting together, Phones returned, and the air between you was different, not worse, clearer. You told her about the 1:33 a.m. searches. She told you about the draft. Neither of you apologized. Apologies felt too small. Instead, you made a contract. You'd tell each other the hard thing the moment you felt it. No more midnight research. No more notes that live in drafts forever. The cost of transparency isn't that you reveal secrets. It's that you can't pretend the small resentments don't exist. By hour 24, you were hyper-aware of everything you were doing on your phone. Every Google search felt like it was being monitored, even though you'd given her back the device hours ago. Every text felt like it needed to be authentic, because somewhere in the last 24 hours, you'd realized she was already seeing the worst and most fragile version of you, not from the phone, but from the 8 years of friendship that came before it. The phone swap was supposed to teach you about trust. Instead, it taught you that trust isn't about having nothing to hide. It's about being willing to be seen hiding it and not being abandoned for it. Here's what you never tell people about radical transparency. It doesn't make you closer. It makes you more honest. And that's not the same thing as closeness. Closeness is still a choice you make every day, even after you've seen the search history, even after you know what kept someone awake at 1:33 a.m. You choose to stay. That's all trust ever was. Your best friend still matters. But now you both know that friendship requires maintenance, not just assumption. Remember, connect with yourself and others. Reflect on your experiences and choices. Repeat the process, because growth is not a destination. It's a way of living. Subscribe and join a community of curious minds seeking wisdom, purpose, and a more meaningful life. Think deeply. Live intentionally. Grow continually.